another one.
Will an internship prevent future employment? So this question is, will a QA internship affect my employability as a software engineer? I'm a penultimate year student who was offered a QA engineer internship role at a startup. I interned as a full stack developer for 6 months last year at a startup, applied to countless software engineering roles, but did not manage to secure any until now. From what I witnessed, there's some sort of bad rep around the QA role. Please don't slaughter me, I might be wrong. My interest lies in dev, and the company said that I may transition to a software engineer intern role if I perform well enough, but the way they said it made me cast some doubts. It also seemed like they are relying solely on the intern to perform QA as they have no other QA engineers in the team. For clarification, I have absolutely no problem being a QA engineer. I think it's a very important role. Okay, thank you for buttering us up, but I'm worried about other people's future employers' perspective. Will a QA engineer intern role be a red flag? Will it be a red flag? On my resume, again, I have no problems with QA. Okay, we get it, all right? I'm just worried about my future employability. So, that is a good question. Let's start our timer. So I can't speak from a engineer's perspective or engineer hiring manager's perspective, but I don't see why that should be a problem. I think it would be a plus actually. If you can see, let's pivot real quick. Let's do a quick little pivot. You can't get a job as a software engineer in the first place. So and you've applied and you've interviewed and you get rejected. So maybe you don't have the skills yet to land that software engineer position. And I think from my perspective, getting a role as a QA engineer can only help and enhance your skills and your foundation of being a software engineer, because it's going to embed that mindset of quality into your development practices. Because even when I was saying earlier, when I'm developing and I'm like still like I'm missing stuff because I don't have my QA thinking hat on. Imagine if I had no QA thinking hat. Imagine how the bugs that I would be introducing. See, I'm writing my unit test before I even write my code. So I'm following a test-driven method. So I have all these different scenarios that I'm catching for. So I have about like 30 tests that run for about 3 endpoints. And then every time something new comes in, I add a test for that as well. So I think with the whole mentality of shifting left, that is what's going like that. It's not only QA that needs to shift left; it's the whole organization that needs to shift left, where we are being more quality minded from the very beginning of the project of the project and the process, rather than instead of towards the end. So I think that the problem that you fear is one that is not warranted. I think that it should be able to help you. And the fact now the fact that you're getting to do it for a startup, the startup, like, yeah, they probably can't really afford a full-time QA engineer. So they have a need right now for QA. So they say, all right, we can afford a internship role. We understand that you want to be a software engineer. Work with us and we'll work with you. But you have to perform. And I was saying this the other day when we were talking about I think I was with Techniships talking about this. You want to move up in IT. Maybe you want to go to QA, you want to go to software engineer. Maybe a route to get into that is like going through tech sales. And I said, before you even think about networking with the QA people, with the software engineering people, you have to do a great job at the position that they offered you, whether that's tech sales, whether that's sales development representative, whatever it is. So as a QA intern, you want to be doing a phenomenal job before you even think about software engineering. Because if you are faithful with a little, then you'll be trusted with a lot. But if you cannot be trusted with a little, how can they trust you with a lot? So if you go and you like, see, you're such a perfect opportunity here, right? To get started with this internship role for QA, and then maybe they can like, okay, this person, they helped us out with this. They are as an intern, they don't have much experience. They have some development background from a 6-month internship they did before. We need some help with QA. So they come in, they do the QA. And if you do an amazing job, now maybe you can become their full-time QA. And then from there, maybe like if they see the value that you bring, and then you start building out the QA team and you say, I want to become a software engineer. And you continue to enhance your skills and say, okay, cool. Now that you have that testing mind frame, can you bring that testing mind frame to our engineers? And now you can become, you become a software engineer, you grow, you become a lead engineer, all that good stuff. So there is so much opportunity in that. So I think, like me personally, I think that it will help. But, I am not a engineering manager. I'm not a hiring manager for engineers. So, take that with a grain of salt. Take that with a grain of salt. All right? All right.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.